worst thing that you can hear as a parent, right? And the oncologist straight up asks the parents, how are you financially?
There's time tracking. We done this messaging. We have a chat specific to each location, or we have a special project going on. We did tracking. We did it's got like all these things for recognition. If you want to start, like it's bunch of, and then they have different levels that you can do. It's about the basic function. It opens up all of this type out. You have scheduling conflicts. Overtime notifications, like you can do way down the road. I have a separate schedule for my new lead development sales team now, where
You do training on there.
yeah, so they and then automations too for, okay, so before it was me taking something like you give me a person say, go check out XYZ, it's a party issue, okay, bam, on call and says we're on all that. So I don't like the CRM question where my VAs now are calling on our leads. We had ads running that get us the leads. So ads, so we at the beginnings to cold calls to appointments. The appointment is set and then put onto a scheduling app. So right now it would be from a different app for me to go and do the deal, right? Which is 1,000 times automated, but now that's the platform for me to still leverage. It doesn't have to be me as the estimator. It doesn't have to be just one VH. I can have 6 of them. I can have 12 of them.
Now we got to talk. Like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So building everything for not today, but for train done.
That's always the way it is. It's good. Okay. Ready?
And you're on.
Okay. Hi. My name is Katz, and I'm a district manager here with Colonial. I've been with Colonial for about 4 years now, so I know a little bit about what we talk about today, but the reason why I'm here is because Ramsey and Clean Creek has decided to present some benefit offerings for you guys, right? This is an investment on his end to think of and to put these things in front of you. So my goal here today is to do some education on these benefits that are going to be available to you, okay? So the quick agenda, what I'm going to cover today is, of course, talk about these benefits that are really high level. Today, we are not making decisions. What we are more doing today is getting a good understanding of them so you get to know what kinds of benefits are going to be put in front of you. Second thing that we'll cover is some of the complementary benefits that, again, Ramsey and Clean Creek has decided to put in front of you. And then, of course, talk through a little bit of the costs about things and making sure that we know how to budget that out. And then the final thing is what enrollment would look like when we do schedule that out. Okay. So first things first, is anybody familiar with voluntary benefits or supplemental benefits? Okay. Okay, no problem. So voluntary benefits are not like a health insurance, right? You know, health insurance, you get hard, you go to the doctor and the insurance company pays the doctor, right? These policies are more designed to pay you. And you can utilize those for things, for the things that you need the most in your life, right? So let's say you're out of work and you're the main breadwinner in your life, right? You can utilize that to help with any bills that might accrue from not being able to work, right? Or let's say, for instance, you work on your hands and feet, right? And you can't go to work for whatever reason because you broke your arm or you broke your leg, right? Those are some of the things that are going to replace those wages as well. So if we think about these benefits, the best way that I like to think about them is if I insure my car, if I insure my phone, I can insure pizza now, right? We should be able to insure our paychecks. So that's the way that I want you guys to think about these, okay? So I'm going to talk about these, and as I talk through them, if there's any questions that you have, I'll ask at the end of every piece, okay? So I'm going to first have you focus in on the checklist right here. So the first one is accident insurance. Best way to think about this one is if you burn it, scratch it, nick it, tear it, get bit by a spider accidentally, it's going to pay you based off of the injury you sustained, okay? These injuries can range from anything from stitches to HR to ER visits, whatever is having to do with that specific accident. It'll pay you based off of that. Okay. So any questions on accident at all? No. Okay. Okay, perfect. The next one, cancer insurance. I know we don't like to think about that, right? But we know that 1 in 3 people are going to be affected by it or have been affected by it, right? Somebody close already. So most of us have been affected by it, right? And so our cancer insurance is designed to pay you a lump sum if you were to get diagnosed or your family under your policy were to get diagnosed. A lump sum between $10,000 all the way up to $20,000. And every time you receive treatment, you will actually get paid for any treatment that you were to do because of that. Okay. So when we think about that, I'll give you a personal story of mine. I was working with this guy that he had a 5-year-old twins and, okay, that's right. 5-year-old twins. And then, of course, he had a 12-year-old daughter, right? A few years of him having his cancer insurance policy, his son was taken to the hospital because he was not really looking right. And it turned out that he had a tumor in his brain, 5 years old. Okay. The worst, I still get chills thinking about it. Worst thing that you can hear as a parent, right? And the oncologist straight up asked the parents, how are you financially? Because we know how expensive any illness is, but cancer specifically, there are many organizations that focus on it. So when we think about that, although we're not experiencing it at the moment, but this policy specifically is one I have personally. I had cancer on both sides of my family. It's my thing, right? And yeah. And so that's really where this policy comes into play. It's really inexpensive, and you can add your family onto it, and there's other riders that come attached to it. Talk through that, okay? But any questions?
It didn't cover some of the fields that has cancer. It's quite figuring out.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it both kind of figuring out?
No, it does not. It does not. So if that's called a pre-existing condition. Okay. So if you're currently getting treatment for cancer or absurd,
let's go like a pill.
yes. Yeah, so anything that has to do with that original diagnosis, yes. Okay, yes. And it has to be from 12 months before. So 12 months before now is when it will come into effect.
Yeah, I got one more breast cancer variable.
Okay, yes.
About they have a surgery, I had a bacteria in March. Had an issue in the house, 12 more.
Yes, then you get it.
Yeah. Has to have 4 stage cancer, yeah, it's contaminant to take it in place.
Yes, ma'am, you get it. Oh, goodness, okay. So, yes, okay. So we know, again, somebody that's been affected by it, okay? So that's number one. So the next one is critical illness. Critical illness is going to pay very similar to cancer insurance, paid a lump sum, then per treatment that you get. But this one's very specific to heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, what is it when you get an aneurysm, right? The good thing about this cancer, with this critical illness, is it has something called a subsequential diagnosis. Meaning, this year, I could probably get diagnosed with a heart attack. Next year, I might get diagnosed with a stroke, right? And then the following year, I might get diagnosed with renal failure, right? It'll pay me, depending on which diagnosis I'm at, right? Different levels, it's going to pay me every single time I have that diagnosis. But the good thing is that it's not going to raise in cost like car insurance does, right? If I get diagnosed one year and the next years I might get diagnosed again, right? It doesn't change in rate, but it'll pay you differently as time goes on. And once the third one happens, it cancels all the way out, okay? Which still protection across those periods of time. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, any questions about that?
No.
Okay, I like it. So I'm going to skip over dental just for a second, and I'm going to go to disability. So disability is one that I, again, personally have. Disability is designed for true paycheck protection, okay? It'll cover up to 60% of your income if you're out of work for any reason, on or off the job, okay? So depending on where you're at financially, right? If you know you can't go 7 days without making a paycheck, 14 days without making a paycheck, 30 days without making a paycheck, it's a really good option. It's designed to be under your compensation, so it'll pay you, again, up to that 60%. Does that make sense?
With C company illness, it has to.
That's right.
What cover illness have covered?
Anything having to do with any accident or sickness. It doesn't matter when it is. Yeah. So for instance, I had somebody a few weeks ago that broke his arm on the job. He was covered for that. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what the illness or sickness is, and it doesn't matter if it's on or off the job. Okay. Cool. Anybody? Cool. Everything. Okay. Perfect. Next one is hospital indemnity insurance. Does anybody have health insurance outside of work? No. Okay. Then we'll skip over that one. Life insurance, again, we all know the inevitable, right? We will pass one day. It's not a matter of it, right? We don't know when, right? We all know that for sure, right? But life insurance, we have two different options. First one's term. So that's for a short period of time. So depending on what time is necessary for you, this is really good for people that are maybe not making too much money, but they want to have a true death benefit, okay? If you're looking at whole life, think about it for your entire life. Doesn't matter what happens from here until there's the time that you pass, right? But the good thing about the whole life insurance is it's going to accrue interest as time goes on. You can actually pull out and take a loan from it. The only thing is the older you are, the more expensive it's going to be. Okay, term life is really good for people that don't make a lot of money, but they want some type of benefits that they can leave behind for their family, right? You've experienced that, you know what I mean?
And the harder is to take return for pounds and well.
For a period of time. So you can customize it for 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years. So you can customize however long you need that death benefit for. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Okay, cool. Now I'm going to come back to dental. Okay. Dental is a true PPO, was what we call it. But you get a card, you can go to the doctor, and Colonial will pay that doctor. So it's not a reimbursement plan, right? It's more exactly how we're used to insurance, right? So you can have dental coverage for you, your family, right? We have different options, but the option that I like the most is you have a $2,000 maximum allowable charge every single year. It's going to cover 100% of anything preventative. So think about cleanings, think about x-rays, right? Think about things that are completely preventative. So yes, that comes into that 50%, and I'll talk about that one in just a second, okay? So it's going to cover 80% of things that you don't have to go under anesthesia for. So think really intense cleanings, right? Maybe you cracked your tooth and you have to get that replaced, right? Any emergency services, it's going to cover underneath there. It's going to cover 50% of any major services. So think dentures, think anything that you have to do like a root canal or it's infection, it's real bad. And pulling teeth is going to cover under that 80%. Yeah. So when we think about that 50%, I do always want to be from Miami. I have to tell the truth about everything, and I also have my license. I have to protect, right? So 50% that coverage is going to be in effect 12 months from now. That's traditional of all dental insurances that you have to wait 12 months to start utilizing that 50%. The 80 and the 100 you can utilize February 1st, right? But anything 50% is going to be 1 year from now, okay? So that's the caveat of it, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions about that at all? Okay. So you guys take this and see if this is check out the ones that you like. If we really want to get a better grip of it. Now I'm going to explain the complementary benefits now before I go and explain the different process, okay? So this first page that you can see here is a well card, okay? So the well card is, again, something complimentary that Clean Freak has decided to put in front of you, okay? This card is designed for discounts, okay? If you don't have the health insurance, but sometimes you have a little cough, right? Maybe there's something minor that you have to go, nothing that you broke your arm, right? But there is a telemedicine visit on there that you pay $50 copay, and you can get any treatment at any time of the day from a doctor. That's going to be anything minor. Okay, they'll send you prescriptions, the entire thing. Another good thing about this one is it has health advocacy on there. So what that means is if you pay cash out of your pocket, there's actually a person that you can call that will actually shop around for cash paying patients and give you the best cost depending on what you need to get done. If you need to get blood work done, if you need to get an MRI done, a CT scan done, right? So that's the positive side of things. The other pieces, of course, it gives you discounts on prescriptions. If you like going to the gym or Anytime Fitness and they give you a percentage off, it also gives you discounts and if you want staycations. Okay, so this is again, super discount card. There's so many things that I can describe on it, but I'll move on from it. It's to save you guys 3 years. Okay. Okay. So this right here, I'll talk about in just a second. So we will have a benefits counselor come and meet with you one-on-one. Their job is to help understand where you're at, both financially and in your family. Okay? So when we think about financially, we think about budgets. We don't ever want somebody to spend more than an hour to an hour and a half of their weekly wage. Okay? So if you make $15 an hour, don't think about spending more than $30 a week on benefits. Okay? So that's the first part. The second part is thinking about your family, where your lifestyle is at. So if you have multiple children, right? If you're thinking and making sure that you want to protect them on your policies, keep in mind that budget as well. So we put these bundles in place for you just to keep it simple, okay? So if you know what, I just want the basic of the basic, let me get an accident and let me get a term life insurance policy, that's what it's going to cost you on a weekly basis, $10.50 around, okay? We want to make sure that I put that there because age plays a part into that, okay? If you want the Maserati of benefits, you get the Premier. The good thing is you can customize these how you determine to be fit. Again, we want to make sure that you're staying within your budgets, that you're well educated on the benefits that are going to be available to you and not just getting everything just to get everything. Does that make sense? Okay. So those are the bundles that we put together, but again, you customize them how you feel, okay? Good thing about customization is we gave you the ultimate insurance layout. Okay, yeah, so the ultimate insurance layout is the next page. This gives you all of the benefits with all of the costs, like very close to being specific. Okay, again, these are tweet. Yes, ma'am, you got it. Okay, so the way that I want you to look at this chart here is the first column that you can see is, of course, what the coverage level is. The second column is issue age. Some of our benefits are age banded, but most of the time to go into your thoughts, ma'am, is that sometimes our policies are guaranteed issue. So sometimes we don't have health questions. So what you might have not been approved for in the past, you might get approved for now. So keep that in mind, okay? So age bands. The next one is if it's just you on the policy and nobody else. The next one is you and your spouse. The next one is you and your children and no spouse. And the following one is you, your spouse, and your family. It does not matter how many children you have on it. It's going to be the same exact cost. Okay? So that's that. Okay? So that's all I have as far as this packet goes. What you can expect, like I mentioned, is we're going to work with Ramsey and Clean Freak to make sure that if this is something that's interesting to you guys, and would you say that it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Okay, perfect. So when we do that, and we're going to meet with Ramsey, right, we're going to set up some time where we meet one-on-one with you. Again, our benefits counselors are paid a flat fee, okay? So it doesn't matter what you guys decide to do, they will get paid exactly the same way, meaning that they're not going to force you to get something that you don't feel like getting, okay? So in that one-on-one, if you have dependents, have their information ready and handy. If you want to put them as their beneficiaries, have them ready and handy, okay? And then you decide which policies you decide are going to be the best fit for you and your lifestyle or fat. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions for me?
No,
Okay,
that's just the outflow, like.
so these are dental. It has every single policy that we have. Dental, accident, if you see here. Dental, accident, disability. On next pages, you'll see the critical illness, you'll see the cancer, you'll see everything. Okay?
We going down.
Yes, ma'am. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys. Take this home. Get to Fox into it. Come up with a budget. Okay?
Yeah.